What's up, everybody? This is DJ Unprotected, and you are tuned into The Output. This is a podcast about fashion, pop culture, entertainment news, music, and whatever else seems like it was interesting to talk about with you. Now, there's never a dull moment in this life, and I definitely, at my regular day job, spend a lot of time talking to people and chopping it up because you know what? I think having, conversing with other people is good for morale. But, it also is good for morale. So this show, whenever I decide to take a drink, okay, you're going to hear something like this. And you know why we do that? Because I do not like dead air. Now, the last show, the show before that, wasn't really, I was well hydrated and it wasn't the time, but now I've got some tea. Because, guys, I will tell you something for real. Texas got another cold front right now. It is freezing. It was like 30-something degrees today. It was crazy. Like, I'm in South Central Texas. It was, there's thunderstorms, heavy rain. It was wild. Like, and it was cold. Like, it got colder during the day than it was when you started in the morning. Because I think it was like mid-40s, getting close to the 30s. And then when I left work in the afternoon, it was like mid-30s, so low 30s. So it was definitely cold. That's why I've got some tea, and got to warm it up. And I'm telling you, it was chilly in here. I had to adjust the thermostat because, or turn on the heat because my place said it was like 66 degrees as I was in here doing some pre-show stuff and hanging out in the studio, having a good old time. But, hey, super excited. 33 episodes. Wow. Like, here we are, man. 33 episodes. That's crazy to think about, the time commitment. And, it's great, man, trying to make the show better and better every single time because that's what you got to do. You can't just be stagnant. You can't just hang out and be like, everything is perfect. But, oh well. Remember the beginning shows, I was like having some drinks in in those episodes. I don't know if it could have been a little bit of taking the edge off because I'm not going to lie. Initially, with the lights on, the cameras, and whatever else, it kind of felt uncomfortable at first, but now it's like, second nature. Like, let's push record and get this thing started. But I'm not drinking beer, liquor. I got a health coach right now, and the plan is to only maybe have, some alcoholic beverages like once a month. Same thing with pizza. Now, you guys know I'm addicted to pizza. I love pizza. And I was getting it every Friday. And it was like the thing I look forward to. I would post like kind of my reviews or show people what the pizza was like on Instagram. But now I just do it once a month because I'm trying to, get my body tight for summer. And that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to say trying to get my body tight. I am getting it tight. So there's no trying here, only do. All right. So you know how it goes in this show. Each week I offer an intriguing question, and this week's intriguing question is, do you sleep with your sheets tucked in or out? Because people find comfort in both ways, but depending on how you answer, it may mean that you could be a psycho. We'll find out, all right? So hang out to the end of the show. We'll talk about how I roll and whether or not we meet the bill of being a psycho. You just never know. So what can you expect in this show, okay? Super Bowl follow-up, halftime show review, absolutely. You guys know I was looking forward to the Weeknd performance. Was it a bust or not? I will definitely talk about that. Funny commercials in the Super Bowl. My first question is, where were they at? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? You would think that knowing majority of people are definitely watching this from home, like, we've been waiting all year for this to see what was going to happen. But the funny commercial, so we're going to discuss that. The next thing, I talked about bad weather. It's cold. It's going to be a shitty long weekend, right? Because we're all off Monday for President's Day. So, what do you do on a cold day where you don't have things to do and you really don't have anything that you want to do? Now, if you had so much time, okay, we're going to talk about what favorite movie, series, trilogy, saga, however you want to put it, what would you watch if you had just hours to burn? I definitely know I have a few suggestions in the top of my list. And then also we're going to talk about Taylor Swift's Fearless album being reborn. That's right. It's going to have, I think, 26 tracks on it, which is pretty awesome. I think it drops tonight or tomorrow. You know, she notoriously drops her albums on Fridays. So we're going to get these songs again in her version. Talk about how excited I am with that. And then drinking and driving, somebody messed up, ruined things for the rest of us. Okay. And then roll into why, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but the Jeep thing, you know, there's a thing, it's called the Jeep thing, end quotes. Like why I think it's a dying breed. And I hope that it doesn't. All right. And then we're going to finish this thing up with some music recommendations from yours truly. So that's what you can expect out of the show. It's going to be a good time, I promise. We've got some quality shit to talk about in the show. But before we roll into this episode and get into the topics, real quick, if you have been enjoying the show, okay, I want to say thank you for returning, push and play, sharing, and listening to this podcast every week. If you haven't subscribed yet or followed it, whatever platform gives you one option or another, please smash that that button, and then also give me a thumbs up or something like that. Really appreciate any support you guys can offer us. And one final favor, if there's an opportunity to rate this podcast, it absolutely helps with the algorithm to get the show out in front of more people. So whether you're listening on Google, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, whatever it may be, in Spotify, please hook us up with a rating, or at the very least, share it with your friends. Sharing is caring, and we all like a little bit of that. All right, so let's roll into this show, okay? The Super Bowl follow-up. Now, this halftime show, I was stoked. You know, The Weeknd is a very talented guy. I like his music, and I learned that a lot of my friends aren't familiar with his music because they were texting me like, who is this guy? Never even heard him before, blah, blah, blah. But I like The Weeknd. I've liked him for years. He's got great melodies. His songs are fun to sing to. And he worked with great producers, you know, Max Martin, who also like produced Taylor Swift's album, was in 1986. So, you know, I mean, he just worked with great. Like he's a chart topper. He comes out with a song, it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, and you sing to it. You want to sing to it in the shower. At least I do. In the kitchen, it comes on, whatever it may be. Especially his like 80s synth pop track that just came out recently. Really enjoyed that one. Was super excited. But what happened with this performance? I will tell you downsides. That thing, like my feedback on this and and my critique, less than stellar performance. Seriously. Like before seeing this, I'd been like, yo, I'm definitely going to buy some tickets in the future. I think he's coming to San Antonio like April 2022, like a year from now or something like that. Totally would have considered buying tickets and, you know, prior to seeing this performance. Now I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it here in a second. Main thing was that there was no stage presence. Now I get it. You know what I mean? Like the main point was him performing for the camera. It was going to be on a Jumbotron, whatever. Obviously it wasn't going to be near a lot of people except for his dancers, given all the COVID restrictions and whatnot. But the stage presence while performing just wasn't very good. It was like staying in one spot. There was no like awesome dance moves. Okay, I will say it was kind of cool when they had the up close camera shots with the, you know, in like the mirror room and the dancers moving around him, right? We're going to get to the dancers in their jockstrap masks here in a second. But yeah, there was like no stage presence when he was performing. And so I'm not a huge fan of that because especially when you go to see someone live, you want to see them work the whole stage. I mean, I remember when I went and saw Maroon 5 in concert, and I was pretty close. I was like row 13 and like 4 seats away from the stage. Adam Levine was all over that stage. The sides, the front, whatever, tossing guitar picks. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It was cool. It was a good show. The dude just didn't stand in one spot. He was out and about. The Weeknd was just in one small area. Like, there was no activity, no energy. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. Now, let's talk about the dancers, all right? The jockstrap mass. So looking at doing some research after the fact, because, you know, it's funny, like every funny chat group that I'm with was like, dude, what's up with the jockstrap masks, right? So doing some research, The Weeknd said like it's kind of a part of a big story of him going into like how Hollywood is all about people changing themselves and trying to do plastic surgery and basically just it's almost like they're creating a fake version of themselves to just fit in or whatever it may be. So this is something he's trying to express. He didn't want to express the full thing, so this is like a small piece of the story because those jockstrap face masks were supposed to be like bandages, right? So, celebrities and people get whatever done to their face and then they wear those bandages for like several weeks. So that's what he was getting at with that. Could the approach been different? Absolutely. That thing absolutely looked like they were running around and dancing with jock straps on. All right. And if anyone, played sports younger, I mean, y'all did stupid shit in the locker room and probably put a clean jock strap on your head to make a joke. But yeah, so, it just definitely made it easy for everyone to make fun of that. But like I said, if it wasn't for the pyrotechnics, wasn't for obviously the great music, right? It was really like I would have probably fell asleep. If they didn't have the loud like explosions and the cool stuff with the lighting, I would have been out because honestly, it was not an exciting performance to watch on TV. I absolutely missed the days of like MTV, their halftime shows. Granted, Justin Timberlake screwed that up with Janet Jackson, but hey, Bruno Mars killed it when he was doing a Pepsi halftime show. So let's bring back Bruno Mars. He put on one of the best shows, I think, for a halftime show, for real talk. So, that was kind of lame, whatever. Totally like, oh man, fell short of expectations, and that's kind of sad, but I will still listen to the Weeknd's music. I like it. Now I don't have the ambition to go see a live show. But what else we look forward to in Super Bowls is the funny commercials. Like, where are they at? I miss the days when, like, I remember watching, football with friends or when I was, with my dad and his friends. We're at somebody's house and a commercial would come on and everyone was like, hey, shh, yo, commercial. And all of a sudden the whole room of like 15, 20 people, not a beer cracking, not a cough, nothing. Everybody just paid attention to the TV. Something would happen, whether it's the dog running with the big horses for Budweiser, right? Or the frogs or whatever it was. Everyone was quiet. And then all of a sudden the punchline would hit and everybody would start dying. Like, it was hilarious. You were excited to see what commercials were going to come through. So this year it's like, all right, knowing the year that we've had, okay, but I don't know what the cost was to get a commercial at the Super Bowl this year. But apparently, like, I don't really remember any funny ones that came across where me and people were talking about it at work. Now, there was one commercial that I saw. It was a Heinz commercial that had me laughing, right? And you might not have seen it because without getting into the details of how this happened, I was watching the Super Bowl through a Canadian TV station. Now, I live in the U.S., in Texas, obviously, not in Canada, but I was watching it because some of the things, like when I was watching the game, I was like, why am I getting Tim Horton commercials? Or what is this weird like investment company I've never heard of? Or what is this and that? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. But there's this funny Heinz commercial, right, where you could look it up and it actually says like Heinz Canada, commercial. So basically, Heinz had supposedly like went out there and asked these people to draw ketchup. That was the only ask. Hey, draw us a bottle of ketchup. Draw us what you think ketchup is. And they all drew like Heinz bottles. That's what they did, right? So the point was like Heinz has made that like their staple. Like if you talk about ketchup, people think Heinz, right? Branding they've actually done it for a long ass time, right? The 1957 or something, because it's the 57 on the label. Anyway, I digress. We know that it's been around a long time. Here's the thing. So they go through, and what I found really funny is after they explain, hey, everybody drew Heinz. Like, this is what they all drew. And they're like, blah, 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 like it's a legacy. But then there's this dude hanging out at the end, and he's like so proud to show his picture. And so he shows the picture to the camera crew, and they're like, that's mustard. And he goes, Oh, that's mustard? Oh. And so that was like really funny to me. Like I was dying and how the whole thing was like funny. The whole thing was like great. Like everybody knew how to like ketchup was going to be Heinz. Like, but then this dude drew mustard and it was really funny. So honestly, that was like the funniest thing that I saw. So I maybe suggest that you guys look it up because it made me laugh. I was like, dude, that's silly. Shared it with some friends and whatnot. But man, I really wish that there was more funny commercials in the Super Bowl. It's kind of upsetting. And I know even though I was watching through a Canadian channel, okay, my friends weren't like, hey, you should have seen this commercial or whatnot. So there it is. Hopefully they can improve and get it better next year. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the stuff. I think the whole thing was, how do you say? I think it was all set up. I think that, given the situation the NFL was in last spring, knowing the type of year it was going to be, they weren't going to make a lot of money because people weren't going to be able to go to the games. Like these are things they just know, projected, right? And so I think they set it up. Like, how else do you draw people to watch this main sporting event than take someone who's won, already 6 champions, moves to a new team, right? But at the time, he had left the Patriots. They were waiting to figure out, what team he was going to go to. So then he goes to a new team. Of course, I think they set it up. And if you see what happened, Patrick Mahomes took a beating, but the dude ran like 200 plus yards just trying to get away from people, right? And so I think it was all set up. Like they probably got paid on the side to throw the game, whatever it may have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they want to win, but they're getting paid a lot of money, so they probably just look sad on the sidelines, they take their hits, whatever it may be, and they just go through it. Because I think the whole thing was absolutely set up, and not putting discredit to Tom Brady. He's a great player, obviously. You easily can refer to him as the GOAT, and not a lot of people are going to argue with you. But I think it was set up. Like, way to go, NFL. You set the season up. You got us, all right? But next year, can we just have teams play? And another thing, look, you guys know I'm a Packers fan. I'm not trying to be biased here. But that situation when they were third down, third and goal, Rodgers had that opening to run to the end zone. He absolutely did, but he didn't. And he threw it to Adams in the front of the goal line, and he dropped it. He had every opportunity. He's good. There's no way he's going to miss that. We all know Rodgers can run. In a pinch, he's good on his feet. He knows, man. He trained behind Brett Favre, who was great about that, finding that last minute out. He could do it. He saw it. You saw him look towards that way, and then he threw the pass. I think it was absolutely set up. They were supposed to lose that game, and that's upsetting if it was actually true. But I think that's what happened this season. So, great business maneuver, but shitty for us fans. So we can only hope that next year is more legit. I don't know. We'll see. So, I guess that's entertainment, right? If you're watching something and it's all set up, whatever, it might as well just be a TV series or movie or whatnot. But speaking of which, it looks like a lot of people are going to have some time this weekend to watch some stuff. Unless you're outside shoveling and whatever else, goes along with that. We're not going to be doing that where I'm at down here. But, hey, it may happen to you. But there's a lot of time to do things. So, let's talk about some binge-worthy weekend stuff, like favorite movies for a cold, rainy, snowy weekend, like we've got. A lot of people are about to go through it, so having so much time on a day that maybe you don't have a lot of things to do, of course you could be productive, read a book or whatnot, but sometimes you just want to just space out and just watch something and be like, cool, like I'm not going to think about my life anymore. I'm just going to zone out and enjoy what I'm watching, right? Whether it's exciting, action, fantasy, or whatnot. So what movie series would you watch? If you had 6 hours to burn, 6 to 8 hours to burn where nothing was on the calendar and you wouldn't feel bad about it, especially with the 3-day weekend. So for those of us who work Monday through Friday. But for me, honestly, I thought about it. For me, it would be the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I know, depending on your thoughts about that series. Maybe you like The Hobbit better. I don't know. But I like the Lord of the Rings, trilogy. Absolutely. So here's what usually happens when I watch it. I usually fall asleep watching The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first one. And then I get excited, usually wake up towards the end of the show end of that movie, because I look forward to the next one, The Two Towers. Really like that one. That one to me is exciting. I like the drama in it. It's just a good, I just like the placement. The third one's kind of frustrating. You got the issues with Frodo and Sam, and it's just, yeah. It's just a mess. Like, it's a whole lot of, obviously it has to be because it was kind of coming to the end of it. So there's going to be that roller coaster of emotions, but 2's my favorite, so I can get through it. But it definitely takes some time, and I'm going to tell you how long it would take to watch that series here in a moment. So, to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, if you watch the longer versions, because you have like the extended versions or what have you, you're looking at like 12 hours of time, probably over 12 hours. Now, it's interesting, to point out that if you really want to binge something and blow like a day and a half, like an all-nighter, probably want to watch the Harry Potter series, because I looked that up too, and you're looking at about like 19 hours, I think, at least. So, something to consider if you got some time to burn this weekend. Pulling some friends and coworkers. I've heard things from someone said Band of Brothers, John Wick series, Back to the Future, Alien series, and I was behind that. Aliens would be like my second one, and I would start from Prometheus to Covenant, and then Aliens, whatever, all the way up, because that's an exciting series. Like, I really like Aliens is my shit. Watch like Covenant and Prometheus probably like 15 times. So that's what I would do. So I'm wondering what you guys would be interested in. I don't know about TV shows. Like, can you watch a full TV series in a weekend? Maybe Schitt's Creek. You could probably burn that one through, but I like the idea of watching movies when there's a lot of time, or a complete series, instead of just rolling through like TV seasons. That's my take on that. We got a lot of time. I'm probably going to hang out. I'm sure I'll spend time here in the studio. I've got a few projects that I want to finish up, but nothing says I can't watch some movies to find some creative inspiration. Okay, so next, let's talk about drinking and driving. Now, why are we bringing this up? Look, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite, okay? I've had a few drinks at some point in my life and probably got behind the wheel when I shouldn't have, and I'm grateful for being here. It's not something I do anymore. I utilize all of my Amex points for Uber. I can promise you that, right? It's a new year, so got to maximize them up, use them up, right? But I'm bringing this up because someone messed up, and it's worth talking about. So YouTube removed Bruce Springsteen's Jeep Super Bowl ad due to him being arrested back in November for suspicion of drunken driving, right? So, whoops. So, no bueno. They pulled the video, obviously, because then, I don't know, like, it relates to somebody, and YouTube's really strict about their content. 100%. We already know that. So, they're strict about that. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? For what he did. And I don't think anyone should get a pass because they're a celebrity or politician or whatnot. Not getting on that soapbox this trip. I brought that up because of the Jeep thing, right? Segment into this. The Jeep thing. That's when you like wave at other people who drive Jeeps. So I got my Jeep in 2018. It was March 2018. So coming up on 3 years now. When I first got it, a friend of mine was like, cool, welcome to the club. Now you've got to like give up the peace sign or wave as you pass other Jeep Wranglers. Not all types of Jeeps, just like the Jeep Wranglers. The trucks too, obviously. The Gladiators, right? Yep. That's them. Talking like I know it, baby. You just wave to them like it's a thing. Whether you know somebody or not, you just wave to them. But what I think is happening is like that thing is falling away because I get more ignores than I do waves. And I'm not sure what it is. Maybe people aren't paying attention which could be that. They're probably like looking at their phone or whatever. I don't really know if a lot of people are actually actively paying attention when they're driving, but I think it's fallen away and it kind of sucks because I like the fact that, you can sit there and it's like a sense of community. Like, yo, what's up, man? Nice Jeep, toss them a wave or whatnot. And when people are riding with you, they're like, did you know that guy? Nah, we're just cool like that. I guess WRXs have a thing, but I think that's silly because I don't know where that came from. Do you guys, I don't, like, that's just dumb. You can't just come up with a car thing. Jeep thing, this waving has been around for a long time, since like at least early 2000s. That's when I learned about it, when my friend Phil had his Jeep Wrangler and we're driving around waving at everybody. All of us in the front seat and back seat just waving at other Jeeps that we'd pass by. So that's it, man. It's how, yeah. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't die out because I like I said, the sense of community, and I think it's cool. Have I missed a few Jeeps? Probably tossed up the signal a little too late, but hey, it happens. I also drive a manual, and if I'm taking a drink, I'm trying to get the stick shift, use the wheel with my knee, and then grab a drink. I bet you that looked funny on camera trying to depict that. So sorry if you watch this, that happened. But hey, I'm going to keep doing it, going to work on it, and I'm not waving to anybody else, definitely not waving to the Toyota version of the Jeep. I'm not doing that either. I don't know why I wanted to go on that Jeep topic, but I did, and that's that. So next up, we'll talk about music. So Taylor Swift's Fearless is being reborn. This thing was re-recorded, and she wants to do these songs her way. I wonder if this relates to she had some drama with Warner Music earlier this year about, performing. I think it was at the American Music Awards, right? There was issues with what songs she could sing and couldn't sing, and she was upset about that. And I think that led to like her wanting to do this project to redo some songs, but they owned it. They owned the content. Music industry is a nasty business. So, I'm excited for this project. It's going to drop tomorrow, probably tonight at midnight. She's posted about it on Twitter, Instagram. This thing is coming out. So she's got 26 tracks on this thing, re-releasing songs from like 2008. You know what I mean? And so very much excited about it. It's going to be a great Friday morning. God, Taylor, she's so talented. And the fact that she dropped like 2 albums out of nowhere this past year, Evermore. I'm still playing that thing. She just had great music. Like the fact that she just recorded that stuff sounded like it came out of a bedroom. And so here she is coming out with a project. And what she's trying to say is these songs are being released her way. Like they're her versions, So it's going to be cool. I'm, interested in seeing some of the, the changes on some of these tracks, how she presents it to us. That's always exciting. She always drops her albums on Friday. I would say Friday is a pretty popular day for new music to come out. So wherever you guys like follow your playlists or whatnot, I can say that usually Friday is like new music drops. So it's always worth like updating the playlist or looking, if you do Apple Music, Spotify. But it's a good day to grab some new tunes, boost your morale, get ready for the last day of the week at work. Man, it's too easy. It's a good time. So excited about that. Can't wait. If it drops at midnight, I will be up late tonight. But so let's wrap this thing up with some we're not quite done with the episode yet. Still got a few things to talk about. But the music topic, okay? We're going to talk about some music recommendations from yours truly coming directly back to you. So these songs are currently in my playlist that tend to get repeated. So if I'm listening on shuffle, if it comes across like some, playlist that I'm listening to, I play it back and I want to share these with you. So the first one is Run by Lane and Casablanca. I really like the melody, the tone. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of male vocals on tracks. Sometimes I just think it sounds off. There's not like dance tracks. Now, Sam Smith, absolutely I like the group Medusa. I think they do it right. But there's other times where you're just like, man, could we got a female singing on there? I don't know. To me, it's more of like a connection, and I just like it more. But this one is really good. So Run, again, by Lane 8 and Casablanca. Great melody, cool drums. The synths sound great. So definitely check it out. Upbeat, something you could work out to, get your morning going with, whatever's going to kind of get the blood flowing, man. So that's a track. The next one, Together by Side Piece. And I thought the artist name was pretty cool, Side Piece. And it's funny because, what did I say? Because, anyway, I thought it was a cool, like your side piece. You guys know what that is. But so Together by Side Piece, another awesome track. It's got great drums. I actually found it on Apple's playlist, the Dance XL, which is phenomenal. New music usually gets added each week. It's like almost 4 hours of like, hot dance tunes, anything from house to techno to whatever. So it's a really good mix of dance music on there. There's even some like down tempo stuff, and so it's a good stuff. So the next track, right, Surrender by Martin Batter. That's another good one. Vocals on there. It's a really good track. That comes across, I hit that back button. So those are my top 3 tracks for this week. I recommend maybe considering looking them up if you're looking to spicing up your playlist. I definitely think you guys should do it, and let me know on Twitter what you guys think. Is my recommendations on or off? You guys let me know, but these are tracks that I definitely will play in my weekend sets when I go live on Twitch. So if you want to see that, that's twitch.tv/DJ Unprotected, and I go hard on Saturdays. The beautiful thing about music, and we were talking about this at work, and it always comes up, like when you talk about music or make a joke about partying or whatever it may be, someone's like, oh, what type of music do you like? And then all you got to do is name one song or something that connects to another person, and the energy just shifts, like in such a great way, like how music can connect people. And it's a beautiful thing, too, that you can sit there in your mind and almost replay like a track that you love, like almost all the elements, right? If you sat there and someone was like, what things does Billie Jean have, right? Well, you remember that the shaker in the beginning, right? Like all of a sudden you can start playing out that beat in your head. Same thing, with common tracks, like any other common track, like Sweet Caroline. If you sat there right now, you could hear all the instrumentations and the melody and stuff in your head almost verbatim. Like it's a beautiful thing how that connection happens. So, the fact that we're able to do that and then connect with people and talk about it, I really find music to be a beautiful thing, and the evolution of it, whatever. But it's just great that like you can like things now, and then we've known from the recordings or written music from like, 500-600 years ago. It's just really cool to me, and people even like that music. Obviously, like you got just so many talented composers that have been through the game. So it's definitely exciting. So yeah, that's kind of why I really enjoy the whole thing of like music. And there's one piece I want to add. So we're just in a discussion. Obviously, this ties into music. Was that we were talking about like resiliency, and really that can tie to like anybody, because this past year a lot of things have been a struggle. Work has not been easy for a lot of people, whether it's working from home or having to go to work. You got kids, the school situation, the stressors, right? You don't want to get sick, or maybe you think all this stuff is bullshit and you're like, why do I have to go through all these safety measures because you don't believe something exists? Whatever it may be, everybody's had, these stressors. And there's also that thing like the COVID fatigue, like all of this stuff going on would make you tired because it like stresses you out. Like, why do I have to wear my mask all the time? Like, I'm done with this. A lot of people are like tossing in a towel. It happens. So we're talking about the resiliency piece, and I was, bringing up like in this group discussion about like defining your why, like why you do something. And for me, I remember this author, motivational speaker, really liked his stuff. His name was, Wayne Dyer. You may have heard of him. Just really, really appreciate a lot of his stuff. My sister put me on what he offered, what he had out there about like law of intention, power of intention, all that jazz. But one of the things he said, if there's something within you that gives you passion, your passion, whatever it may be, is your drive, like, don't let the music die within you. So for me, it's very literal, right? Because I'm creative. I love making music, and there's a lot of things like it brings me a lot of happiness. Time doesn't exist when I create music or when I'm DJing. Like, and that's a hard thing to explain. You get in such a flow that hours and time like are almost non-existent. But it can be applied to anybody. Whatever your passion is and your goals and your drive in life, if it's you want to, write books, you want to be a writer, write novels, whatever it may be, if you feel that within you, like, don't let that die with you. Like, just go for it. If you find that like having valued relationships or conversations with people. So if you're having a bad day, but someone wants to come and talk to you and that's an opportunity for you to lift them up, you don't let the music die within you by pushing away your sadness and negative feelings and like encouraging this other person or putting in the quality engagement with them, because that's like, it's a good thing for you. So yeah, so that was like the extra music tangent. You're welcome. Gave you guys some, hopefully that means something to you guys, but I do think it's important, whatever we have within us, that passion, that drive, that thing that makes us happy, whether you could like to build things. Maybe you like to, construct things, whatever it may be. Just don't let that passion die within you. I think it's important to just express that for whatever reason. We have talents. We are interested in things. We just can't let it just die with us, right? When we go. So die within you, fall out. Peter away. Did I say Peter away? I didn't. What did I want to say? Like, anyway, don't smolder the fire. Don't let it burn out. Keep fueling that fire. Stay happy. Don't let the music die within you. That's the last time I'm going to say that. All right. So let's talk about this week's intriguing question as we wrap up episode 33. The money question right here. If you have significant others, spouses, whatever it is, all right, this question: do you sleep with your sheets tucked in or out? And what is more comfortable for you? Now, obviously, if you are in a relationship or someone else shares the bed with you, it's probably a compromise unless you both like the same thing. For me, I sleep better. I like my sheets super tucked in. Maybe, it could have been the military background. I don't know. But I just like that feeling, especially if it's cold in the room, those sheets tucked in tight. It just feels really good. I want them shits tight, like where it's tough to get out of in the morning. To me, that's enjoyable. But hey, you know what? I've also been there when you're so exhausted at the end of the day. Maybe you didn't make your bed in the morning. It happens, right? I'll admit to that. But you're tired at the end of the day, whatever it is, you're like, I'm not making my bed, and you just hop in. That can sometimes be a good night's sleep too. But majority of the time, I like to sleep with my sheets tucked. Now, beginning of the show, I said one way, like depending on how you answer it, could make you seem like a psycho. I was bullshitting you guys. There's no way. There's nothing behind this saying one way or the other. You're more crazy than other people. If you share your bed with somebody and they don't like what you do, then they may consider you to be crazy. I have been called crazy that I like those sheets tucked in so tight. But hey, that's my thing. That's how I find my level of comfort. So I'm interested in what you guys like. Do you sleep with your sheets tucked in or not? I think it's an important question. We got to know this. Hit me up on Twitter at DJ Unprotected. Let me know what you guys think. All right, everyone. Thank you again for tuning into The Output with me, DJ Unprotected. This podcast is presented by Aztec Nation. I hope you're picking up what we're putting out. We got a lot to say, so tune in on your favorite streaming platform next week for a brand new episode. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and live your best life. We out.